there's not a whole lot you need to say to him on the sideline. We just make sure we're on the same page in terms of what the situation is and what we need to accomplish and how quickly we need to accomplish it. But beyond that, it's not like he needs a pep talk or a rah-rah or anything like that. He's ready to go, and been saying it all along. He rises to the occasion time and time again. It's really impressive to see a young player like this be so clutch.
How great is it to hear Ben Johnson singing the praises of his young QB1?
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff, and I think we all see it, and we know that he's got the clutch gene. That fourth down pass to Roma Dunze, we'll talk about it with Brian Baldinger. He did a great breakdown of it. That was just a hell of a play, man, and everybody knows it. It was one of the best plays we've seen all year, and it's really, I'm talking about in the league, just a hell of a play to keep a drive going and to eventually score on that drive. Just great stuff. The kid has got that knack. It's amazing to see. There's a couple of things that are really interesting to see from him, and one is his wheels, the way that he can turn it on and get away from pretty much anyone. That's really kind of an extraordinary gift that he has. The other thing, the guy's got a rifle, let's be honest about it, but the other thing is he always seems to be at his best when it matters most. And for the coach to say, we just need to, hey, we're going to run this, we'll run that, we'll run. You don't have to say, go get him, you can do it, we're all in it together. I got this, man. Don't worry. Here we go. And he does. He plays better at the end than he does during the game. And if that switch ever gets turned and he's able to do that through the course of a game, and I hope it happens starting this week, because you cannot keep going slowly and waiting till the last minute. You need the clutch to start earlier, quite frankly. But it's an extraordinary skill. It's an amazing capability to be able to do something like that. And the coach talking about it gets better and better every time he talks about it.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a bromance going on at Halas Hall between these two guys. And I think if you did have any reservations, and I'm looking in the mirror and raising my hand, I did, about Caleb Williams a little bit, because that body language what was a thing in the first half of that game against the Packers, and it was kind of going backwards. The momentum he at least had built with me was going backwards. He was reverting to the Caleb Williams that I was not a fan of. If the social media video that I did like that the Bears put out was of Caleb Williams handing the game ball to Ben Johnson, and kind of a little bit of emotion for both of those guys. Right, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and that's something I'm glad Bears social media decided to share with Bears Nation, if you will. So I love the bromance going on right now.
Did that counter the other stuff you didn't like?
It did, yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I think they were hypocrites, if we're going to really go down that rabbit hole.
I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
You brought it up.
You're the one who keeps bringing it up.
I don't keep bringing it up.
Why are you staring
I was
at
just trying to see where he was.
What's this?
Okay.
You're making ice cream or butter? Or you like
I didn't know you borrowed that from me. My stick.
I'm not stirring anything. I am just enjoying the way that Caleb Williams has, I think, turned some people around in terms of his demeanor, in terms of his approach. I'm not sure he's changed that much. I think the maturation is obvious on the field, and the stuff on the sidelines. You talk about something that has been released. NFL Films captured 4.5 minutes of that game, and part of that, and it's worth your time, was Caleb Williams on the sideline when things looked rather bleak, telling everybody to believe, and it's going to be okay. And even as the comeback continued, he was like, this is what we want. This is where you want to be. And this is where the Bears need him to be. He has progressed quickly into a guy you trust when the chips are down. And on that play, forever known as 4th and Caleb in Bears lore, he was the guy that you saw make a throw that he said yesterday he's made before.
Yeah.
He's gone left. He's jumped up. He's thrown it up. But really, not under those circumstances with the stakes that high. This is elite stuff. This is the arm talent that he was reputed to have coming out of USC. And he is
The special.
he is doing the special, and he is living up to expectations. And we don't have that a lot in this town because the expectations tend to be outsized and outrageous. But Caleb Williams is the rare example so far. 2 years into his NFL career, he is meeting them.
I'm not talking necessarily about a pick six or something like that.
That, of course, is the voice of Brad Biggs. Biggs time 7 a.m. What do you make of the Bears' estimated injury report, which saw just 3 players limited? Rome Odunze with the foot, DJ Moore with the knee, and then linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin a back. The only guy that was out was my guy, Nick McLeod, dealing with a groin. Maybe the best news was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, listed as full. Do you consider that a good omen for him coming out of concussion protocol?
Yes, I do. I think that when you get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, it increases your flexibility as a defensive play caller. I'm not saying that he is necessarily the difference between stopping Matthew Stafford in the Ram offense and not, but he does make you feel better about the ability to give Matthew Stafford perhaps a look that he's not used to seeing. You've got a couple things in play here with the Bears. The other injury reports, I'm not really too concerned because everyone seems like Rome's going to play, DJ Moore's going to be fine, and that's all that really matters. When you look at the secondary, you don't have TJ Edwards, so you have DeMarco Jackson in theory, your second linebacker. But, Mully, when you look at that Ram attack, I think you've got to consider the passing element, and then what do you do to give it a different look? Maybe you play with 6 defensive backs. Maybe you lean into your strength. It's not either or when it comes to Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon. It's not either Gordon or Gardner-Johnson. It's both. It might be both. 4 down linemen, 1 linebacker, 6 DBs. Mix it up because those 2 guys against the run might be as good as any linebacker you have. It might be a little susceptible, but I like the injury report because it says C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to be at your disposal, and they will need him this weekend.
They will need him this weekend. He can be a disruptor, if you will, an irritant, if you will. I don't think you want him exclusively playing every single snap, but now that you've got Kyler Gordon back and you can mix that up, because the Packers went at Kyler Gordon, right? I didn't misinterpret that on Sunday night.
They went at him.
Or Saturday night, rather. They went at him, and Spider-Man wasn't exactly spinning
Almost
the web.
exclusively,
right?
Later in that game.
Yeah. So, again, and I get it. He was probably needed to be on a snap count, if you will. But, again, they were down guys, and he tried to do the best that he could based on, availability. So getting C.J. Gardner back is excellent news.
Yeah, the thing is, they don't have him back. What they reported is that he was capable of going full in practice. Concussion protocol is a different animal than the injury list. So they have 3 players in concussion protocol, all of whom were full participants in the imaginary practice. They've got to be cleared medically. So they have to, they got to take a look. They got a baseline of how they're supposed to look, and then they medically will clear them, hopefully, by the end of the week. It's a really good sign, but there still is the issue of getting out of concussion protocol before they're allowed to play. But it certainly is heading in that direction, and I would say it's heading in that direction for all 3 of them, and that is the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson idea. That is also the idea of Tryon Shoyinka, and Agbogbamiga is another guy. Aman Agbogbamiga is a linebacker and a guy that can help on special teams as well, and that's good. It's good to have your choice of everyone as you pick your game day roster, but that won't be official, right, till later in the week?
It can't be.
No.
But I think it's trending in the right direction.
It certainly looks like it's trending in the right direction. I think that's excellent news for the reason you're talking about, because, the other thing is the Bears are struggling with their pressure packages, and I get it. When you talk about veteran quarterbacks, they always say, you attack the young ones and then you defend the older ones. And certainly Matthew Stafford has seen everything but it wouldn't bother me if they had a package where they went at him with both of those nickel guys from either side while they...
Because you could guess, and you'd have to guess which side the blitz is coming from.
Exactly right.
Your tendency wouldn't be predetermined, and because you really haven't used both of them.
Exactly. It'd be
So it's a new
different
look. At the second game in the playoffs,
That's right.
You're introducing a new look to a
It'd be good.
veteran who must have seen everything.
That'd be great
Yep.
to do, and hopefully you don't have to wait till desperation time to try that.
Yeah, it's a good question.
All right, that's Baldy's voice. He'll be with you guys at 9 later on this morning. How would you describe Caleb Williams' demeanor at the podium Wednesday at Hallis Hall, particularly this little nugget about a pre-draft talk with the GOAT, Tom Brady?
It's about the next play. It's about the mentality when we're in the moment. It's about honestly not wanting to go out that way and getting your tail whooped and have a certain mindset, have a certain fight about you, and then it could either be one of your worst moments or one of your greatest moments. And so I think in that mindset you want to. In those moments, you want to choose to try and fight for it to be one of your greatest moments that you can have.
What do you think? How do you feel about Caleb's demeanor in that little nugget?
I tell you what, Caleb's demeanor at the podium is always the same. There's always this underlying confidence. There's always this self-belief. That's called competitiveness. Okay, when you don't want it, you can go out one way or another. I'm gonna work as hard as humanly possible to make sure I'm at the best when the moment is most important. That's competitiveness. Those are the elements of athletes that you can't judge, you can't project. You've got to see it, and I think that's why quarterback play is so difficult to scout in the NFL. If you're looking at guys in college, I want this guy, look what he can do. But can he focus in and do it when it matters most? These are intangible leadership. He talked about his leadership. He talked about getting on guys at different point. We're watching him become better and better, not just as a player, but as an athlete, as a guy who believes in what he's doing, as the strong mental champion. You got to win it in your mind to win it physically on the field, and he is getting that. He's getting to a point where he's beginning to dominate in that area, and that's a great sign for young athletes. The competitiveness is not something that's easy to judge. You can't, when you are trying to figure out if this is the guy, you can't measure his heart. You can't figure out how much it means to him and how he's going to react at that stage. Everything he says is kind of, you really should write a book about the guy because of the way this is going, and hopefully it just keeps building and we see that element, that factor that Brady definitely had represented in Caleb.
There's a whole lot worse people you could talk to than Tom Brady, so it's good that they have a bit of a relationship. I would suggest that Caleb Williams try to make up the relationship with Troy Aikman, since they seem to have a little bit of an issue. But, Caleb is talking the talk and walking the walk, and that's what you want. Thanks. I took my stick back, David.
Mr. Positive.
Wow.
I took my stick back.
Who mentioned Troy Aikman? Who brought that up?
I did.
Okay.
Who else?
The Tom Brady.
I'm owning it.
The Tom Brady influence, it's a great image and clip because you have young Caleb Williams before his first NFL practice, I think, sitting there listening to Tom Brady tell the other quarterbacks of the 2024 draft class, I believe, about the value and what got him to go from 28-3 at halftime in the Super Bowl to Super Bowl champion, one of his 7 rings or whatever. And Caleb Williams there eating it up and not knowing going back to that day what was going to become of his first 2 seasons in the NFL. And you're right about there's no better person to learn from, especially in the context of this week. You go back and it's like, well, that was the game referenced at halftime. And then also just to think about how far he has come since the days where everything about Caleb Williams was being questioned and scrutinized and second-guessed. From his demeanor to his tone to his fashion, his choice of whatever. So Caleb Williams right now can do no wrong in Chicago. And I think that's fun. But yes, seeing him nod his head as a young quarterback as Tom Brady spoke, that was pretty cool.